Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to Aries TV 33. Excuse me. This is the last video of my planetary functions. I am speaking on the planet Uranus, which is the higher octave of Venus. On the last video, I explained that Neptune was the higher octave of Mercury, and Uranus is the higher octave of Neptune. So look that up and figure out what that's all about. Uranus is the planet of altruism, or the planet of selfless concern for the well-being of others. Uranus actually rules the planet Aquarius, which is, the information bearer, is the planet that, that is internally so informative and just an all well-knowing planet. They just have this really great instinctual kind of feeling, and that is ruled by Aquarius. So the planet Uranus stays in each sign for 7 years, and around 40 years old is when it will oppose your natal Uranus. So when you turn about 40 years old, wherever Uranus is in your chart at that time, that is, when you turn 40 years old, wherever Uranus was when you were born, it will return there then. It's something like the Saturn return, like Saturn returns between 27 to 29 or 30 years, and Uranus will come around after 40 years. So you do have to go through your Saturn return before you meet your natal Uranus, or you reset through Uranus at that time. It brings wake-up calls for individuals and to the collective as a whole. So Uranus is one of those planets that comes in and kind of like sweeps away the ego and wakes you up and lets you know, like, hey, there's more to the world than just you. There are other people, and the collective consciousness is something that a lot of people don't think about, that we all are connected universally, not universally, but on the earth, and probably universally too, but just on earth in general with the humankind, we're all connected through a collective consciousness. So around 40 is when you kind of wake up to that. And your Uranus for a generation manifests as innovations, breakthroughs, shifts of perception, and Uranus love. If you have a strong Uranus in your chart, you become like a builder of society. You become one of these people who is like an architectural design for society. You become a great thinker, and you are generally concerned about society as a whole. Like, what's going to happen for us, not what's going to happen for me. What's going to happen for us? Where does this take us next? Where are we going next in our choices and our decisions? And like I said, it's a higher octave of Venus, and Venus is the planet of love, but Venus is more like love, sex, relationships, and there is a universal love that Uranus gives to us. Uranus does that. Uranus with the sun tends to make people unusually different, or what you would call weird. So these people who have a strong Uranus in their chart, or wherever Uranus is in their chart, like my Uranus is actually in Sagittarius, which, I am kind of like awkwardly weird for people at some times. Like, there's something about me that draws people magnetically to me, but just in general, my likes and dislikes are not in agreement with everybody's likes and dislikes. So I tend to be a person who makes people uncomfortable, or makes people feel weird, or something of that nature. But depending on where Uranus is in your sign, you might also be that way. But like I said, it's 7 years. So if you guys are like 7 years around my age bracket, then you guys also probably have Uranus in Sagittarius. But long story short, with Uranus, you rock to the beat of your own drum. You don't necessarily really worry about what anybody else thinks. You're very different, and you're very stubborn in your differentness, and you very much will stick to what you believe to be true and to be good for you. Okay, it evokes a state of transformation, because when you stick to who you are and what you like and what you want to do, then you do have the ability to transform, because you're doing something different. You're doing something that you yourself strongly believe in and that in your heart feels right to you. Which also allows for self-confidence to emerge from the individual into great group orientation. So if you have a Uranus in your chart, and I'm just using this as an example, and you start like a cult or something, most likely you're going to be a trusted cult leader because you're saying something that you sound confident in, or even a teacher. Let's just say a teacher, cult leader, freaking chief deputy police, whatever you are. If you're leading a group of people and you're confident, even if you do things different, say for instance you're even the president, you do things different than people, but you're so confident and so sure in your ideas and the things that you think actually do sound like they could possibly work, or that it could be a possibility, or that is your truth, and your truth might actually be true to more people than your actual self. So Uranus is for the individual who rocks to the beat of his own drum, the individual who cares about the world as a whole, people as a whole, and thinks of people. When they think of their selves, they think of people also, not just they only think of their self. And like I said, after 40, Uranus comes around. That's why a lot of us, when our parents hit 40, we're like, what happened to you? You're changed. Like, and they're like a little bit lighter on what they do. Like, no, well, be nice and do this that way and do this that way and don't do this and don't do that. But you're like, what is this coming from my psycho mother who's like psycho? But like after 40, Uranus comes, switches it up, and helps you learn. So thank you guys for watching this video on Uranus. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, please do, and check me out on a weekly basis. There's this awesome hawk like flying right over me. Check me out on a weekly basis. This is the end of my planetary functions. Next I will add a little numerology and explain a little bit more. Since I did the planets, then I'll start explaining about the houses and the individual zodiac signs. All right guys, I love you. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm sorry that my Neptune video cut off earlier. Talk to you guys later. Bye.